MLK highlights for the 2022-2023 school year. I am Principal Perry, and if you think you know everything about MLK, well, you have no idea. During this presentation, I will share academic and cultural highlights from throughout the school year. On tomorrow, we will have our first induction ceremony for the National Honor Society. We are also gearing up for dual enrollment at 2 post-secondary schools, Moortech, which will host our welding and property maintenance, and we will also have scholars who are juniors and seniors who will transition to Southwest Community College for dual enrollment. MLK College Prep was blessed this year by surprising our student body with not only a performance, but a $25,000 donation from Glorilla to the seniors and the fine arts department. Seniors had multiple opportunities throughout this year, from on-site job and college fairs, campus tours, to also visiting local museums throughout Memphis. MLK senior class, of course, here is the presentation of the $25,000 check from Glorilla. Not only did we have students to enter post-secondary education, but we had scholars to enroll in the U.S. military. Over $250,000 military scholarships were awarded to students. In addition, we received the 2022-23 FAFSA champion. This designation is awarded to schools whose Tennessee Promise FAFSA completion rate increased by 5% over the previous year, or those whose Tennessee Promise FAFSA completion rate exceeds 90%. Our ACES department experienced many opportunities inside and outside the classroom. Students traveled to Lambert's Cafe in Sykeston, Missouri for their end of the year incentive. We also had 4 students ranked in the top 20 in the senior class, 4 students who received OSHA 10 certifications, 4 ACES students who received industry certification, 1 student who enrolled and qualified for dual enrollment in Southwest Community College. Students raised over $2,000 for best coffee in town. And also we have our, of course, teaching all students opportunity grant that is going to be led by Ms. Robinson, who will be going back into the classroom to ensure that our students are receiving high rigorous instruction embedded in academic standards so that they can, of course, compete with every student across the state of Tennessee. From a successful toy drive led by Ms. Deborah Buford, to performances in the Christmas program, to participating in the Honors Chick-fil-A brunch, our ACES students were pumped about learning. Next up, we have our English teachers who are lit about teaching. Major success in the end of the year IPG walkthrough, gains were made in student mastery of content, time spent in the text, and identified textual standards. This year, the science department was super excited about the grand opening of our science lab. Students were able to take their learning to new heights through hands-on lab experimentation and using the phenomenon embedded in their lesson to drive their thinking and learning. In November, our MLK scientists had the opportunity to visit Discovery Park of America. This field trip was successful by receiving a scholarship from the Kirkland Memorial Scholarship Foundation, and also in part to Ms. Berry and Ms. Evans driving this effort. Finally, MLK Science Department hit 100% of phenomenons driving the lesson. Substantial growth was made in mastery of content, access to observable content of the phenomena, modeling, engineering, and science practices, and a plethora of other indicators. Next up, we have our math department. One thing that we enjoy and we appreciate this year was us, of course, having Ms. Moore come over on board as our math MCL. She transitioned from Westside to MLK the second semester. All classes hit the aspect of rigor at 100%. Students worked at grade level standards, and increase in students doing majority of the work was evident with a growth of a 2.0 to a 3.5 in our last walkthrough. Our history department made their presence known this year. It was one for the history books. Ms. Riles led a successful student teaching at White Station High School. Students were excited about leading a teaching lesson before their parents, teachers, and school leaders. Students prepared for this session for over 2 months. Kudos to this dynamic squad. We have 11th grader students Jamiria Harwell, Lakivia Henderson, Antonio Perry, and also Adrian Wilborn, who facilitated a teaching session at White Station this year. When I say that learning should extend past the classroom, that's exactly what Ms. Perkins displayed in April for our economics class. This was an all hands-on experience that students led. Students had the opportunity to market and sell their items for their businesses. Prior to participating in any events, they had to submit a business proposal as a vendor to Ms. Perkins. Our Black History program was one for the record. Students took ownership this year in leading the efforts to make this program a successful. In addition, U.S. History case assessment from Case 1 to Case 3. We had 4 students performing above grade level. Almost 10% of students performed at grade level or higher. And our wonderful CE department programming took off with a bang this year. Culinary arts students enjoyed hands-on learning from Chef Wilby. AV production in its first year was filled to capacity with students interested in audio and visual production. Our welding classes began to use simulators to apply methodologies of engineering practices. And look at there. Is that a girl welding? Yes, girls can weld too. Shout out to Charisma Tolbert. Great productions were developed this year through our Fine Arts Department. In partnership with the History Department, we have Evolution of Black Beauty, Black History Program, and of course the Nutcracker Remix. Our majorettes showcased their talents this year. MLK STEP Team, under the guidance of Mr. Mateen, was a major hit this year. And who are we outside of the classroom? Who is behind all of this success, all of this work? Well, you have the MLK team. We also take time out on Saturdays to do Saturday school tutoring. This Saturday session, we had over 50 students who came on board for ACT Prep and TN Ready Saturday tutoring. Also, from homecoming festivities such as Pajama Day, Themed T-Shirt Wednesdays, Anything But a Bag Day, to supporting not only the district with FCS Day, but also each other outside the classroom. Case in point, Mr. Key's performance as Scottsboro Boys this spring. We have enjoyed the support of the district's from Glorilla's surprise performance during homecoming to our annual Soup and Socks Day. We had much success in our MLK Teacher Town PD, not only led by our IoT team, but by classroom teachers as well. Teachers across all contents collaborated on strategies to increase student engagement and also how to differentiate lessons, just to name a few. And let us not forget about our favorite time of the year, Teacher Appreciation Week. Teachers receive round-trip airfare to Paris, Europe, Mexico, and Persia. We also provided in-flight snacks on the flight back to Memphis, thanks to our wonderful NCL flight attendants. Students voted this year on our Teacher and Staff of the Year. To no avail, Ms. Riles and Ms. Price took the recognition for this year. Kudos to these wonderful ladies who brighten up our building each day with their presence. And lastly, yes, MLK College Prep, we are hiring. Please join us at www.frasercs.org and click on Career Opportunities.